have a group of Filipino laborers visit Sanxia District, Taiwan to help volunteers assemble prefab homes of Haiyan survivors. We learn how climate change due to global warming leads to an increase of extreme weather events. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. In Tacloban, the Philippines, Tzu Chi volunteers distributed nearly 28,000 bags of rice to some 19,000 families between last Thursday and Friday. And starting on Monday, July 21st, the volunteers began the second stage of rice distribution to help more people still recovering from Typhoon Haiyan. A total of 50,000 bags of rice will be distributed by this Friday.
It is another scorching day in Tacloban, the Philippines. But for those awaiting Tzu Chi's rice, they just sat quietly on the hot floor and listen to volunteers sharing. It is how they repay Tzu Chi's kindness since Typhoon Haiyan.
Sumama na lang talaga ako para
I joined Tzu Chi because I want to help others. I was born and raised in Tacloban, but it was devastated by Typhoon Haiyan. I hope I can do my share to help my own people, just like Tzu Chi volunteers.
While some take action by volunteering, others put Tzu Chi's teaching to practice. Domina not only takes home a coin bank and rice from the distribution, she will share her bag of rice with her brother's family.
Marami.
My brother and his wife live quite far away and have no access to aid. So as soon as I received my portion of rice from Tzu Chi, I want to share with them. Sharing is what I learned from Tzu Chi.
After the disaster, Domina's family, who lived further away, was forced to live in a shelter. They have just moved back recently, and thanks to Tzu Chi's aid, they no longer have to eat sweet potatoes only.
We are truly overjoyed. I am simply speechless to receive this bag of rice. Tears have welled up in my eyes. We don't have any income now. With this, my children finally have some rice to eat.
This is our home. It is a lot smaller now after Typhoon Haiyan because we no longer want to stay in the shelter, so we have built this temporarily.
Thanks to a bag of rice, this family can eat better and has found hope once again.
In Sanxia District near Taipei City, Taiwan, as Tzu Chi volunteers race against time to assemble prefabricated homes for Typhoon Haiyan survivors, 88 Filipino laborers in Taiwan recently joined to help with the assembly and seized the opportunity to thank Tzu Chi for helping their countrymen.
Today, some new faces showed up at Tzu Chi's premise in Sanxia, New Taipei City. The group puts on the volunteer's vest and get ready to work. After Typhoon Haiyan, Filipino laborers in Taiwan have been worrying about their country. Today, over 80 Filipinos take action by helping assemble prefab houses for the storm victims.
Typhoon Haiyan devastated the Philippines. As we fabricate prefab housing for the survivors, if the Filipino workers in Taiwan can also help with the effort, that will be great.
Thank you very much, Tzu Chi Foundation.
Thank you very much, Tzu Chi Foundation, for helping the Philippines get through Typhoon Haiyan. You have been a great help. Thank you.
Tzu Chi's Haiyan relief efforts move many Filipinos in Taiwan.
You give us many things, like especially before when there was ongoing typhoon. I just could not imagine how you could do that to us, And you really earn the respect of many people in the Philippines and many people here.
Maybe as a Filipino, we don't have that means to give, the money, but we have a heart and willingness to share whatever we have.
Despite being miles away from their home, these Filipinos spare no efforts to help their fellow countrymen.
Next, we go to Taoyuan County, Taiwan to meet 90-year-old Li Denshan. Following his wife's passing, Li came to realize the impermanence of life and decided to dedicate the rest of his life to doing good deeds. To show his support for Tzu Chi, besides collecting recyclables on a daily basis, Li has even vowed to become a certified Tzu Chi volunteer.
will come here to pick up recyclables. If there isn't any, I will go home. We need to follow in Master Zheng Yan's footsteps.
Practicing recycling in the early hours is volunteer Li Dengshan, who has been collecting recyclables around his community on a daily basis.
I'm picking up these recyclables to support the Tzu Chi Foundation so the Buddhist NGO can help those in greater need.
To show his support for the Buddhist NGO, every day, rain or shine, Li sets off to collect recyclables before dawn.
If there are a lot of recyclables to pick up, I will be home around 5 o'clock in the morning.
Upon returning home, Li Dengshan will clean up a bit before heading to the Tzu Chi Chiedong recycling station.
He asked us not to call him Grandpa.
I am truly amazed by his spirit.
Regardless of his old age, he is here every day. I am impressed by his determination.
Before joining Tzu Chi, Li was a borough chief for 24 years and was known for his hardworking and friendly personality. Following his wife's passing, Li Dengshan realized that he needed to seize the moment to do good deeds.
I've wanted to join the Tzu Chi family for a long time, but I never committed myself to it. About 3 to 4 years ago, when I was around 85 years old, I asked myself, what can I do to help Tzu Chi? Mr. Zheng Yan has been doing good deeds all these years. Now I'm in training to be a certified Tzu Chi volunteer. I told myself if I don't join Tzu Chi right now, I probably won't have any opportunities in the future.
To further support the Buddhist NGO, Li Dengshan decided to join Tzu Chi's volunteers training seminar. Despite still recovering from a lipoma surgery, his determination to walk the Tzu Chi path has not stopped.
When people ask what my name is, I would tell them my name is Dengshan, which means climbing up the mountain in Chinese. In life, we need to take one step at a time.
Regardless of his old age, in the years to come, Li Dengshan promises to continue walking the Tzu Chi path and making his life more meaningful as a result. In China's Dongguan, Guangdong, lives 74-year-old Tzu Chi care recipient Liu Renxuan, with his adopted daughter working away from home and him having to take care of his mentally disabled wife. Liu's home has been left in a state of disarray. Recently, as Mrs. Liu has been in poor health, Tzu Chi volunteers seized the opportunity to clean up their home as well as take Mrs. Liu to see a doctor.
Spider webs and filth cover every corner. Even fowl can be seen walking around. It is hard to imagine that this is where Liu Renxuan and his family call home.
This family has lost the ability to take care of themselves.
Following the winter aid distribution last year, the family was taken under Tzu Chi's wings. Volunteers have, on many occasions, offered to help the family clean up their home, but to no avail. It wasn't until recently, with Mrs. Liu's poor health, that volunteers got the chance to help out.
Let's give the house a thorough cleaning so the family can have a better living environment.
Volunteers first form a line to move out all the clutter before they begin with the cleanup, while another group of volunteers take Mrs. Liu to the doctor. Volunteers work together to give the home a fresh new look. After a checkup at the doctor's, Mrs. Liu's health is fine. Lying on the new bed volunteers brought, happiness is written all over Mrs. Liu's face.
正义，他喜欢我们来，我说以后多点来好不好？他说好。然后我说喜不喜欢我来？他说喜欢，一下子就喜欢，不用考虑。妈妈她可能就是。
Your mom has trouble moving around, so you need to help her out, especially when washing her hair, because sometimes she can't reach to the back.
Before leaving, volunteers extend their blessings to the family as they wish them new beginnings in their now clean and fresh home.
Recently, team members in Taiwan held a free clinic in Sanxia District near Taipei City to tend to the health of those living in remote areas. The group also visited a nearby nursing home to check on the residents who were unable to make it to the free clinic venue.
Today, Tima's free clinic is at Zhongyi Temple, the religious center of Sanxia District. Among the patients is 80-some-year-old Grandma Wu, who pulled her arm while taking care of her husband.
My arm feels much better now. Everyone is so nice here.
Our job is to help patients, so when we relieve someone of their pain and suffering, of course it makes us feel good as well. When they are happy, we are happy.
For many doctors, this is their first volunteer experience. They find the interactions with their patients here to be much more in-depth than at their own clinical practices.
When patients don't understand their symptoms, we are very willing to take the time to explain it thoroughly to help them understand.
A team of some 20 volunteers also visit a nearby nursing home. While doctors safeguard the residents' physical health, volunteers safeguard their spiritual health.
The seniors are happy that there are many people who care and are willing to chat with them.
We need to treat them like our own grandparents. This kind of companionship helps to relax and tear down their walls so they could interact with us.
Treating patients as if they are family is the best medicine doctors and volunteers can provide.
As Typhoon Matmo nears Taiwan, we bring you a new series on the effects of severe weather. The Central Weather Bureau estimates that 30 typhoons will form in the West Pacific this year. Due to El Niño, the typhoons will be more powerful and intense than usual. And because of climate change due to global warming, record-breaking storms will only increase in frequency. So it is best that citizens be prepared.
Typhoon Winnie of 1997 claimed 44 lives in Taiwan and another 265 lives in China and the Philippines. During the El Niño front from 1997 to 1998, Taiwan was struck by 8 typhoons, of which 3 caused serious devastation and loss of lives in neighboring countries as well. And it looks like El Niño is looking to cause havoc again in the Pacific this year.
How can we predict that El Niño will take effect this year? It's because we have observed that the sea surface temperature is quite warm and will only get warmer, so we call this the year of El Niño development.
This year's El Niño is predicted to be the most powerful of the century. The term means warmer ocean water in the equatorial Pacific, which then leads to abnormal weather patterns.
Because of the increase in temperatures, the flow of currents is affected, which disrupts global weather patterns. Some dry areas might get torrential rain, while some wet areas might experience drought.
The changes in humidity and temperature can disrupt the ecosystem as well. The sea by Taiwan's Kending has seen an explosion of jellyfish, which has negatively affected other marine organisms.
In less than 200 years, Taiwan has seen a general increase in temperature. As far as we know, the figure is 1.5 degrees Celsius.
Scientists have observed that both the temperature of the island and ocean have increased. The Weather Bureau says this strengthens air convection, which makes typhoons harder to predict.
This is where Taiwan is, so during La Niña, typhoons form closer to Taiwan, but during El Niño, they form further away from Taiwan. So if they take form further away from any landmass, they have more time to gather strength at sea and grow into a more powerful storm.
The further a typhoon is away from Taiwan, the more likely it will deviate and go elsewhere. However, if it does make landfall, it will be way more powerful than a regular storm.
If we have several years of limited precipitation, especially in winter, then record-setting storms and flood-causing torrential rains are much more likely to occur.
Due to climate change, record-breaking storms and floods will occur a lot more frequently now.
We just have no idea when another record-breaking typhoon will strike. It could bring endless rain and we could lose our entire harvest.
Not only might farmers lose their harvest, but for those living in the mountains, their homes are at risk as well.
Whenever it rains hard, landslides occur. This area here is all the result of mudslides.
Taiwan's fragile terrain cannot withstand the powerful storms of El Niño. All the Weather Bureau can do is help citizens get prepared.
If there are a lot of hurricanes in the Atlantic, then there will be fewer typhoons here. We have seen a decrease in hurricanes in the Atlantic, so it is more likely there will be more typhoons here. We estimate there will be over 30 this year.
In the past, about 26 typhoons formed in the Pacific every year, but that number could exceed 30 for this year. The Weather Bureau says severe weathers will only increase in frequency due to climate change. Thus, citizens should always be prepared to prevent damage to property and loss of life.
In our next report, we meet recycling volunteer Zhao Shufen and her husband Zhou Xiaoping. Before joining Tzu Ji, Zhao was an ordinary housewife that dedicated herself wholeheartedly to taking care of her family. However, after joining Tzu Ji, Zhao found a new purpose in life, while Zhao's husband has said that watching DaAi TV has strengthened his relationship with his family.
I was afraid to volunteer because I have been a housewife for many years. I was worried that I would not be able to communicate or interact with other people.
Before joining Tzu Ji, Zhao Shufen was an ordinary housewife that dedicated her life to taking care of her family. What gave her the motivation to join the Buddhist NGO?
I remembered seeing a story about a Tzu Ji brother. Before, he was a Tzu Ji care recipient, but later on, he decided to reciprocate Tzu Ji's love by practicing recycling. I think this is the power of Master Cheng Yin's Dharma.
The truth and beauty portrayed by DaAi TV captured Zhao and her husband's attention. Since then, the couple has become loyal fans of the channel.
In the past, I only watched news broadcasts on other channels or political talk shows. The news I received from those shows affected my mood. When my mood was not stable, it affected my relationship with my family and created tremendous stress.
For about 6 years, my family and I didn't watch TV. It was after meeting Tzu Ji that we started watching DaAi TV.
There are a lot of great shows on DaAi TV. If you want to immerse yourself in Master Cheng Yin's Dharma, the best way is to watch Wisdom at Dawn. Sometimes the Master will tell us about her experiences.
Before watching DaAi TV, my husband and I always have the concept that parents are always right. We wanted our children to follow our decision and footsteps. However, Master Cheng Yin told us that we need to learn to let go, care for them, and give them our blessings.
Every Wednesday, Zhao and her husband practice recycling with their neighbors. Furthermore, when school is in session, the couple will visit local schools to spread Tzu Ji's philosophy to youngsters.
For the past 30 years, whenever I went to work, all I thought about was how to compete with others. When I came to Tzu Ji's recycling station, I realized that everyone here dedicates themselves wholeheartedly without expecting anything in return.
Through volunteering, I have gained a lot of confidence. Before, I was only a housewife and taking care of my family was my only duty. Volunteering at Tzu Ji's recycling station is something meaningful that I want to continue doing.
Tzu Ji volunteers in Indonesia continue to care for the well-being of their care recipients through the month of Ramadan. Recently, an iftar dinner hosted by volunteers was held at the Tzu Ji Great Love School in Jakarta for Tzu Ji care recipients. Let's take a look.
Hearts are brought together through a sign language performance. 170 care recipients have been invited to an iftar dinner hosted by the Tzu Ji Indonesia chapter. Care recipients express their deepest gratitude for all the assistance they have received from Tzu Chi.
I first met Tzu Chi at the free clinic in Biak. At the time, I had heard that volunteers from the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter were coming to help the sick, so I took my child for a checkup. The doctor told me afterwards to take my child to the Jakarta Tzu Chi hospital for further treatment. I'm really thankful to them.
The hardships and struggles of impoverished families have all been portrayed in this short play.
The purpose of this play is to let care recipients know that although they have received help in the past, when they have the means, they too can help others in need. They don't have to remain a recipient forever. They can become givers too.
Enjoying a meal at the end of the event, the evening concluded on a perfect note.
To prepare for an upcoming musical adaptation of the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings, young volunteers at the Jingsi Books and Cafe have been rehearsing their parts. And in order to overcome the confusion of remembering to use their left or right, the student sign language teacher came up with an idea to use stickers to help.
After some 2 months of rehearsals, these young volunteers can now sing along to the sutra. To improve the synchronicity of the young volunteers' movements, a sticker was placed on the back of everyone's hand.
Which hand is it for beckon? Where is your sticker? Use the hand with the stickers to beckon. Okay, one more time.
As the young volunteers, who are from 3 to 13 years old, may have trouble differentiating between their right or left hand, former kindergarten teacher Zhang Wenxing thought color coordination could help unify everyone's movements.
With the sticker here, we can clearly follow along when the teacher makes the motion.
Color and shape attract the children's attention, so after we implemented the sticker system, the children's movements were a lot more synchronized than before.
Other than stickers, there are also other volunteers helping to adjust a few details.
We have an adult up front to show the movements, while other volunteers are on the side adjusting the children's movements. This is how we're helping them.
By now, 2/3 of the total rehearsal sessions have passed, and the children have learned to calm their hearts and sing and sign along to the words of the sutra, thus each passing on the Dharma in his or her own way.
We stay in Taiwan at the end of the show, as Typhoon Matmo is just around the corner. Pingdong Tzu Chi volunteers thoughtfully help a former care recipient's family clean up their cluttered home. Thanks to Tzu Chi's help, this family can stay safe through the storm. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.